Welcome to Slapshot Podcast, episode number 102. I'm your host, Christopher Morais. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Why don't you just come on in, grab a seat. I'd offer you a beverage, but you should probably get a hot chocolate, maybe a hot coffee, something to help keep you warm. It is freezing here. It's freezing in the rest of the United States as well. If you're in one of those areas where the snowstorm has hit, please be safe, stay warm, all right? Cuddle with your dog, whatever you got to do. You know what I mean? Big episode coming up today. We got some stuff we got to get to, some news, of course. We're also going to talk about a certain player who's getting a little bit of disrespect here, okay? I get it, right? A little bit older, making some money, and the production hasn't been there, but that doesn't mean we just kick him to the curb, all right? We're going to talk about Brendan Gallagher and why he's not the problem, all right? Before we do that, of course, if you have found yourself in here by accident, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. You're watching this over on YouTube, youtube.com/@slapshotpod. Go ahead, hit the sub button, ring the bell, okay? That way you get notified every time a new episode goes up. If you are listening to this, maybe you're, commuting to work. I don't know. People do that. Maybe you're listening in the shower, on the toilet. I don't care where. Why don't you head over to X, right? Slapshot Podcast, hit the link tree, and then click follow wherever you enjoy your podcast. Apple, Spotify, Podbean, everywhere else. Anywhere you click the link, you'll know exactly where to find it. All right. Make sure you follow me on X as well, @FuzzyChris91. While you're there, follow the podcast as well, all right? And on Instagram as well, Slapshot Podcast with 2 T's. I've had trying to do some more banger shorts. Some good, some bad, some provoking. I'm just here. I'm just here for the vibes, baby. I am here for the vibes, all right? Speaking of vibes, let's get to the news. Things that you may have missed since the last time we were live. Listen, the New York Islanders AHL team in Bridgeport, they are moving to Hamilton. Is it Hamilton? I don't think it's Hamilton. Is it Hamilton? Hold on. I thought it was Hamilton, but now I'm getting a Bridgeport Islanders, right? Oh, yeah, that's what they're called. Yes, they're moving to Hamilton. It's right there, but I had second thoughts. Anyways, they're moving to Hamilton for the start of the 2026-2027 season. Bridgeport, listen, not a really good team, to say the least, but definitely a choice to move. Bridgeport is closer than Hamilton is. This I know. I guess it just wasn't working there. AHL hockey in Hamilton should be good, though. I'm excited for that. They have had AHL hockey before. Montreal Canadiens affiliate was there. Hamilton Bulldogs. A long time. I wonder if they're going to call them the Hamilton Islanders. Probably not. So excited to see what they choose there. Josh Doan, son of Shane Doan, signed a 7-year, $6.95 million per season in Buffalo. This has been a fantastic trade for everybody involved, by the way. He has come over and has been very, very good. Right? JJ Peterka has been pretty good as well in Utah. This is what we call a win-win. Sometimes you just move guys to different places. Everybody wins. You don't have to have a loser every time. But that is I would say that's a good deal for both sides. 6.95 that's kind of like the new $4 million, right? It's very fair. Josh Doan is still young. He could produce. I think he can be a middle 6 forward. Have some grit to his game. Maybe finish with 55 plus points. So I think this is good. The Buffalo Sabres are still an absolute wagon of a team. They keep winning. Doan's been part of it. Good for them. Couple of roster moves have been made here. With the 2 of these teams we know are sellers, so right on par. The Calgary Flames traded Rasmus Andersson to the Vegas Golden Knights, right, for Zach Whitecloud and some picks. That makes sense. The talk was that Rasmus Andersson would be moved. Again, the salary cap in Vegas does not exist. It's an illusion. Like some of the shows there, it's magic. Doesn't matter. If Vegas has a chance to add something to their roster to make them better, they're doing it. They don't care. Rasmus Andersson is already going to join a very, very good defensive group there. Think about it. They got Noah Hannafin a few years ago. Shea Theodore is still there. I guess Andersson is the replacement for Alex Pietrangelo, who's not playing this year. But listen, the rich keep getting richer, and good teams continue to be good teams when they go out and better their squad. First of all, Vegas also doesn't have a pick in what I feel is a million years. Vegas is like, if we have a first-round pick, we will trade it. I feel bad for that. Honestly, I feel bad for that scouting department. All those scouts and everything, they show up to the draft. They're like, hey, day one. Every day one, scouts show up at the table knowing they're not doing anything. Round one, never heard of it. They made a couple of picks, but they've traded those players most recently. They just keep moving picks out. They don't need that. They don't need it. Not when you're winning Stanley Cups either. You don't need draft picks when you're winning Stanley Cups, right? So good for Rasmus Andersson as well. The Canucks also, like I said last time, they are rebuilding. They use the R word, rebuilding. So they've already made some moves. Kiefer Sherwood out the door. He's heading to San Jose. San Jose gets 2 second-round picks. So this upcoming draft and the next one, I think some of them are, no, I don't think they're protected. And then Cole Clayton. I don't know who Cole Clayton is. I'm going to be honest. That's not, don't know him. Maybe I will one day. But the 2 second-round picks for Kiefer Sherwood was definitely something there. One, Sherwood's a pending UFA. Okay. The San Jose Sharks are buyers. That's what I understood for that. I don't think they're requiring Kiefer Sherwood to then move him again, especially since he's still working his way back from injury, so he hasn't played yet. He was skating, though, so that's good news. But he brings a little bit of sandpaper to the lineup, I would say. I think that's fair. And this is a young Sharks team that probably needs a little bit more leadership. Like, they have guys there, right? But Sherwood probably fits into I don't know if he's a second line winger, definitely a third liner. And we know that Sherwood loves to throw his body at any other player, right? Leads the league in hits last season. He was on pace for it as well this year. He has that goal scoring ability. This is a good ad. I don't know if the Sharks will go out and re-sign him, though. But I was interested that Greer decided to make this move. Fantastic return, by the way, for Vancouver. They needed picks. They got 2 for a player that they were not going to re-sign. There are more bodies that are going out there. It's just a matter of time to figure out who's leaving. But man, it's been a minute, huh? Since the San Jose Sharks have been buyers. They've gone on a little bit of a run here. I don't know if San Jose is a playoff team just yet. They're in the mix, right? They remind me a lot of the Montreal Canadiens last year. Just, you want to be in the mix, and that's what they are. Now, do they have issues? Absolutely. But here, tidbit for this, okay? If the San Jose Sharks make the playoffs, okay, I know it shouldn't be tied to this, right? A team, right? A player winning the Hart Trophy based on his team making the playoffs, okay? To me, that's a flawed logic, right? But if the San Jose Sharks make the playoffs, Macklin Celebrini's name is all over that Hart Trophy. I can't imagine the league giving it to anybody else. I know this has been a generational run for Nathan MacKinnon. I am very, very aware of that, as well as the rest of the planet. But Macklin Celebrini being like having 30, close to 40 points, I would say now. 40 points more than the second closest guy on his team, and then wheeling this team into a playoff spot. Like, you can't deny him the trophy, which is sad because Nathan McKinnon has not won a Hart Trophy, and that is wild. That is wild. And it's always like, oh, there's always these excuses like, oh yeah, well, somebody else and this, and I get it. Listen, I get it. Again, a lot of people are saying, well, the Colorado Avalanche would probably make the playoffs without Nathan McKinnon. Maybe, but they wouldn't be as dominant without him. I understand, though, that, like, where would the Sharks be without Macklin Celebrini? I'd feel like they'd be like the Buffalo Sabres we knew prior to this run, which is terrible for the better part of a decade. So there is definitely that. But again, good on the San Jose Sharks for saying, hey, we're in the mix. They're clearly not rebuilding completely if they're willing to move picks to add a pending UFA. So good on them. Good on the team. Good for the fan base, man. Getting back in it. This is what we love to see. Remember, when teams say the rebuild doesn't work, like tanking and then rebuilding doesn't work, just point them to a couple of teams that have done it correctly. Okay? Make sure to do that. So that is the news that you may have missed since last time we were here. Now, we got more important stuff to talk about here, obviously. We are going to talk about, like I said, Brendan Gallagher, okay? Because the Montreal Canadiens are starting, listen, knock on wood somewhere, they're starting to get healthy-ish, okay? Now, there's a lot of players that are kind of fighting for spots, okay? Guys who maybe we didn't think would be. I didn't have Alex Texier in the lineup for the Montreal Canadiens at the start of the year, right? We certainly weren't sure about the production of Oliver Kapanen. I think it's safe to say Kapanen's not going anywhere, right? And you didn't re-sign Alexander Texier so you can, sit him in the press box? That's not. He's been very good. Is he a top-line winger? Well, probably not, but you can find a spot for him, okay? All that to say, some choices are going to have to be made. Alex Newhook, his return is, he started skating today. Patrick Laine. Laine looks ready to return. He's not playing, I don't think, Tuesday. There's Monday today, so tomorrow. But, he's right there. And even if you wanted to, let's say, trade him, okay? Let's say you want to trade Patrick Laine. The only way to boost a player's value is to play them, right? I also don't think the Montreal Canadiens are going to move Patrick Laine before the trade deadline, okay? We'll get to that a little bit later as to why. But there's been a lot of flack about Brendan Gallagher, okay? And him being the odd man out. And, he's not scoring goals. And, he's making a lot of money. And, maybe trade him. Or I even heard someone say waivers. And I was like, buddy, hold on. Let's sit down, okay? Sit down. Have some water. Collect yourself. Maybe a Snickers bar. Because you say some weird things when you're hungry, okay? Brendan Gallagher is not the player who's going to sit, okay? Now, let's dive into the numbers, okay? Because this is about numbers. I know some of you don't like the analytics part behind it, right? Some of the boomers are like, no, I like the eye test, which is fine. Because Brendan Gallagher also passes the eye test. You could not sit here, look me in the eyes, and say Brendan Gallagher doesn't give 110% when he's on the ice. Can't do it. You can't do it. I dare you. I dare you. Look at me and say that. Of course not. You know what you're getting from Brendan Gallagher every time. The goals are not there. But listen, it's not for a lack of trying, okay? I pulled up some numbers here, okay, that support him, okay? Let's take a look at some of these here. Couple of things. One, these stats are all courtesy of moneypuck.com, of course. It's 5-on-5 totals, okay? 5-on-5, minimum 100 minutes played this season, okay? There's three different, 2.5 numbers here that really stick out to me, okay? That kind of define the Brendan Gallagher experience this season. One, he has 3 goals, 5-on-5. It's not great. But that's a minus goals above expected of 6.4, okay? So the numbers are saying that Brendan Gallagher should have about 6 more goals, 5-on-5. If he did, we wouldn't be having this conversation, would we? He's been exceptionally unlucky, okay? Look at some of the names there. Philip Deneau, who has 1 goal this year, right? Nick Suzuki, probably should have more. Joe Veleno, and then Zachary Bolduc. Look at the gap between Gallagher and Deneau. And Deneau showed up halfway through the year, so let's take him out. Look at the gap between Suzuki and Gallagher. It's massive. Gallagher's just been a little bit unlucky. And listen, hockey is like 80% luck, I would say. Sometimes you got to pucks hit players and they go in. If you're in the right spot, Gallagher's office is in front of the net. Sometimes pucks go off you and you find a rebound and it goes in. The puck just doesn't seem to be bouncing his way. Okay. It's a minus 6.4. It is what it is. Okay. Sometimes, and coaches will say this, if you work hard and you do the little things right, goals, points, all that rest of that stuff will follow. So far, it hasn't for Gallagher. But again, it's not for a lack of trying. Look at these numbers below here. So shots on goal per 60 minutes of ice time, shot attempts per 60 minute of ice time. Okay? Look at the shots on goal per 60. Brendan Gallagher is ahead. Look at who he's ahead of in both those graphs, by the way. Like Cole Caulfield is scoring 40 this year, okay? He might flirt with 50. I don't know, but he's scoring 40. Cole Caulfield is just burying pucks short side. If you're a goalie and you leave 2 inches on the short side, that's more than enough for Brendan Gallagher for Cole Caulfield to burn you. Brendan Gallagher is first on this Habs roster in shots on goal per 60 and shot attempts. He's doing everything possible. Right? But again, sometimes hockey doesn't work like that. It doesn't go in. He's shooting the puck a ton. Good amount of those shots are also finding the net, but they're not ending up in the back of the net. That we call unlucky. Listen, if Brendan Gallagher, if the goals were there, again, if they were there with these type of metrics, we would not be talking about him sitting. And we should never take Brendan Gallagher's name and say, oh, he's the guy who needs to be out. No, not with his work ethic. Not with his work ethic. You know where Brendan Gallagher's going. He's going to the front of the net, and he's going to make something happen. He's still shooting the puck a decent amount, right? Like, it's good. So, again, it's not like he's just out there cycling pucks and grinding it down. He's taking the chances that are being given to him at an exceptionally high level, too. If you're in the same conversation as Cole Caulfield, you're doing okay. Problem is, the puck isn't finding the back of the net. Now, I know Brendan Gallagher doesn't play a ton of power play. I get that. He gets a little bit. But, again, we're talking about 5-on-5 numbers, which is where, like, you have to be good 5-on-5. You have no choice. You want your power play to be good, which is important, but you got to be good 5-on-5. You got to take advantage of even strength opportunities, right? That's where the sauce is good. So again, Brendan Gallagher is not the problem. We've established this now. Are we good till here? Look at the numbers. Okay? If you don't understand it, listen, just a lot of shots, not a lot of goals. Unfortunate. That's it. We could dig deeper into high danger and stuff, but I don't want to lose half of you midway through this, okay? I don't want to do that. But again, Brendan Gallagher is not the guy who sits out, okay? So now you say, okay, well, Chris, somebody's got to sit, right? Somebody's got to sit when everybody's healthy, right? We got to build a lineup. I said, okay, you're right. Somebody's got to sit. We have no choice. As a matter of fact, there's 2 players that have to be removed from the roster. Because don't forget, it's a 23-man roster. You can't have 25. That's too many. It's too many guys. 23. Don't worry. I got you. I got you. So this obviously courtesy of the good folks over at Puckpedia. I went out of my way here to build the Montreal Canadiens forward lines. Again, this is when everybody is healthy, which is saying something, okay? It's saying something. But in a fictitious world, this is how it looks. Now, again, you can change these around a little bit if you want, but these guys are probably in the lineup more often than not, okay? Let's start with the top line. I don't think we're changing anything there. Caulfield, Suzuki. I'm going to leave Alexander Texier there for now because he has demonstrated that he can play there. He helps drive that line and its offense 5-on-5. If you remember when Slavkovsky came off that line, there was a little bit of a struggle for that line 5-on-5. Again, power play, I get it. Caulfield and Suzuki are just burying it. But you got to be good 5-on-5. And don't forget, Suzuki has tough matchups as well because he can handle it. And Caulfield has turned into a very good all-around forward. So, for me, you can leave Texier there. It's fine. If you want to move him down to the third line, you most certainly can. I will not break up that second line of Juraj Slafkovsky, Oliver Kapanen, and Ivan Demidov. I'm not going to do it. Not doing it, baby. That line is just, they're driving. You can see Juraj Slafkovsky and the evolution this year from where he started the season to where he is now. The puck is on his stick. He wants it on his stick. He's making plays. He's using his body. He is morphing into that power forward that everyone thought he could be. And he's only 21. Right? Like, think about it for a second. This is his what? His fourth year now in the NHL? This is his fourth year. Like, just to put it into context, Oliver Kapanen is 22 today. Okay? And Demidov's 20. Just in case you wanted some additional numbers here, okay? He's still a child. He's still developing, Slafkovsky. But you could see the evolution. When he joins a line now, he makes it better. He's a player who leads that line, which is exactly what we heard in his draft year, right? When he got better at the Olympics, he kept every line he went on, he got better. That line got better. So I'm not touching this line. I'm not touching it. Demidov is providing to be as advertised. I think Oliver Kapanen has been the biggest surprise. Yes, is his shooting percentage elevated? Sure. Will it regress? Maybe. But he's doing everything you want him to do. That second line center hole, you probably still need to fill it, but Kapanen has made that something you don't have to address immediately. I think that's maybe an off-season trade. I think that's where you go and acquire a second line center. Here's my third line, okay? Now, again, most of the guys here that are coming back, we're going to put them on the bottom six. Patrick Laine, I'll let him play the left side. Don't forget, Patrick Laine is a right-handed shot, okay? Kirby Dach and Brendan Gallagher. Listen, I don't think I have to explain to anybody who the hardest working player on that line is, okay? Patrick Laine and Kirby Dach are big bodies that unfortunately, they're not grinding out pucks, right? Brendan Gallagher's that guy who can go and get pucks, get to the net, be dirty, make life hard for the opposing defenseman and goalie, okay? Dach and Laine have skill. I don't think I have to tell you that. The problem is sometimes I would say is the compete level or the consistency of it. Now, some of you may want to trade Patrick Laine. And I can understand why. But for a team like the Montreal Canadiens have been a team for the longest period of time that have struggled to score goals. They seem to have figured that out a little bit. The power play is not where it needs to be just yet, but I'm not letting Patrick Laine walk, right? And if I'm not going to get something worth the price for him, I might as well hold on to it. I am willing to let him walk in the offseason than get minimal return for him. Like if I'm getting a 3rd round or 4th round pick, I'll keep him. Let's make a run. Because you can in the NHL have a really good offensive third line. Don't forget, the matchups are easier, right? Because you got to respect Montreal's top line. You most certainly have to respect that second line. And now you got to respect that third line a little bit. And I think this is where it's going to help Brendan Gallagher the most. Guys on his line that can score some goals. Nothing against Philip Deneau and Josh Andersson or Jake Evans. Those are not the guys who are pounding the back of the net. Okay? Pucks have to get to the net at an exceptionally high level. Let the pucks get there and then let Brendan Gallagher clean it up. Okay? Those are the type of goals that he's going to score. I'm not asking him to score from like 15 feet out. That's not where he should be scoring his goals. He should be the Zach Hyman of that line. Go to the net and get rewarded. Now, this requires Kirby Dach and Patrick Laine to be the drivers of that line, okay? Drive it offensively. They have to figure it out. To me, I don't know who Kirby Dach is just yet. Is he a centerman? A lot of people want to use him on that top line wing spot. Sure, you can. You could probably maybe use Patrick Laine on that top line on the right side. But again, do I want a right-handed shot on the right side when you already have a shooter in Cole Caulfield? Probably not. And again, I don't want to break up that second line. Because again, I probably keep Laine on the left side. If I'm playing in with Kapanen and Demidov, we saw that early in the year. That is a defensive nightmare. Okay, it's not all unicorns and butterflies here with Slafkovsky. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it certainly doesn't work with Laine. So leave him on that left wing. If you give him his 15, 16 minutes, and they're quality minutes, and good things happen, then we're fine, fam. We're fine. But we can have a third line that goes out there and creates some offense. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay? Here's my 4th line. Philip Deneau, Jake Evans, Alex Newhook. Alex Newhook is skating. To me, Alex Newhook he has to be in the lineup. I do not want to see Alex Newhook skate on the second line anymore. Okay? I just want to make this very clear. Alex Newhook is a depth player with a ton of speed. But the man has hands of bricks. He's not a goal scorer, okay? Keep him away from Demidov and Kapanen. Please. Please. He has his utility, right? I think a good 4th line role. Newhook can kill penalties. I know he's young, but is he really going to be a top 6 goal scorer? Probably not. So let's give him a role. Do I want Deneau and Jake Evans on the same line? Ideally not. But here's the good news. Jake Evans is a right-hand shot. Phil Deneau is a left-hand shot. So they can alternate face-off sides. It doesn't matter. They're 2 very responsible players. Again, if I move one of them up, I don't want Deneau with Patrick Laine. Because again, I don't think Deneau drives the play the same way we want him to. I think Deneau is now a bottom 6 forward. He's not the guy he once was, okay? I bet you he still loves pizza. But the offensive numbers have just not been there for him, okay? Getting a little bit older. He's here for his defensive help, okay? Kill penalties, take the important face-offs, take a load off a little bit of Jake Evans, right? He can kill penalties with Newhook. All of that is fine, okay? Those are the guys in the lineup. So, Chris, who are the guys out of them then? Here you go. Let me help you. I included Jaden Struble here just because he was part of the graphic, okay? But Jaden Struble and like Arbor Jack are the rotating 6 defensemen. That's fine. Sammy Blais obviously has to sit in the press box. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, right? Joe Veleno as well. Man, the Joe Veleno experience has just not worked. It's not enough from cardio Joe Veleno. And with Danault, I don't have to keep plugging Veleno out there to win faceoffs. So he's out. Here are the two that probably hurt a little bit, okay? Here are the two that hurt. Josh Andersson is the guy who sits. Okay? The question becomes, is Josh Andersson a better player than Alex Newhook or Brendan Gallagher? No. Josh Andersson is a bottom 6 player, little bit of speed, throws his body around, kills penalties. He does what we ask him to do, and he does it pretty well. But there's no offensive upside to his game. None. There's not much there anymore. Do I need him in the lineup every night? Probably not. Not over guys like Laine, Gallagher, Newhook. I most certainly am not taking Jake Evans and Philip Danault out of the lineup, right? I'm not taking Texas. So at one point, there's not enough chairs. So we got to make the choices. To me, Josh Andersson is one of them. The next one, again, this one kind of hurts, but it's Zach Bolduc. He got off to a blazing start, and now it's just not working for him, right? He's been on the top line. He's played a little bit everywhere. The offense is not there. There's a chair for him. I just don't know where it is right now. And maybe this is a case of a young kid that's just lacking a little bit of confidence and needs an opportunity to go out and just play a bunch of minutes. Okay? Now, if you don't know what the little green arrow is here, if you're listening to this, there's 3 players that have green arrows. Okay, Oliver Kapanen, Ivan Demidov, and Zach Bolduc. This means these players can return to the minors without having to clear waivers. Because again, as I stated earlier, it's a 23-man roster. So there's 2 players too many here. So, Sammy Blais, he has to clear waivers. It is what it is. You know? It is what it is. I'm not sending Josh Andersson down, right? And if I have to keep Joe Veleno or Sammy Blais, I'm probably keeping Joe Veleno. And I know the Montreal Canadiens would too, because he's a center. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. So we keep Joe Veleno on the roster, which means Sammy Blais goes down. And again, Blais not going to play very much because I don't see whose spot he's taking. So might as well go to the AHL, have some fun if he clears. The next one is Bolduc. Okay? 1, because he can go down. He doesn't have to hit waivers. That is very important. 2, I want him to go and just play like 20 some odd minutes a night in Laval on the power play and all these places and let him torch the AHL a little bit. Once upon a time, I'm old enough now to remember when Max Pacioretty, before he got going in Montreal, it was, he was always a streaky player. But at one point, he went down to the minors, and he kind of said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but like, leave me here. Instead of coming to the NHL, playing in a bottom 6 and playing sheltered minutes, leave me in the AHL. Let me work on my craft. We all know how that worked out for Max Pacioretty. It's pretty good. I think it's the same thing for Zach Bolduc. It's not, on the surface, it's a demotion. I get it. But let him go down there and have some fun. You know what I mean? He's going to go down there. The Rocket are a very good team. So he's going to go down there. He's going to get to play all the important minutes, top line, top power play. Go there and just find that confidence. Work on your game. At first, I didn't understand when people said, hey, the NHL is not a development league. And I said, man, where better to develop in the NHL? Now, I kind of understand that a little bit more. Develop your craft in the AHL, perfect it in the NHL. Some players have to come up and develop now more than ever, but I think sending him down and just letting him do his thing is not the worst thing in the world for him. We've seen this happen with other players. Because again, if I bring Bolduc into the lineup, am I taking out Alex Newhook? I most certainly am not sitting Patrick Laine. I'm going to give Laine the most rope possible here. Because homie has proven that he can score. He's proven it. And I need that sharpshooter in my lineup to keep opponents respecting everybody else. Okay? If you want to give Patrick Laine a little bit of space, okay. But I think he can burn teams. And I think that line could work. Or at least give it a shot. See what you get. See how this works out. I don't know. The problem is for Bolduc is where I put him. There's no space for him in the top 6. I would say there's no space for him in the top 9. So do I want him to play a checking line role on the 4th line where he has to compete with, I would say, Newhook, Andersson, right? Kind of rotating in there, or long stints in the press box. I don't want that for him. Go down, play your minutes. Just keep working on your craft. It was the same thing for Jacob Fowler, right? He got promoted when you need him, played 10 games. It wasn't all that bad. But instead of being part of a 3-headed monster and this rotation of playing once a week, go to the AHL, play a bunch of hockey. That's how you get better. You get better by playing. You can't necessarily get better by sitting in the press box. So, again, this is how I would do it if I was Marty St. Louis, which I am not. I sit here instead. So my ideas are, of course, 100% correct. But if I was running Montreal Canadiens lineup, these are the conversations I'd be having, and this is how I would be executing it. Okay? I don't want to see Bolduc or Blais, for that matter, in the AHL. But there's too many bodies, and the Montreal Canadiens, are they necessarily going to do a 2-for-1 and send players out? Like, we've seen Kent Hughes be very willing to say, I'll keep the group together if you win, right? We saw this last year. So I don't know if he wants to disturb that chemistry midway through the year, right? You bring in a guy, like how many elite talents can you bring in? I don't think the Montreal Canadiens are in the running for Panarin, so that's simple. I also don't know what you'd have to pay to bring Panarin in. I don't think they're collecting guys like Laine and Newhook. If they are, let's have a conversation, Chris Drury, but I don't think that's what they're doing. So, again, this is how I would do it. This is how, listen, tough decisions have to be made. But I'm not getting rid of Patrick Laine right now. And for all the reasons demonstrated, maybe you forgot, maybe you have, short-term memory loss. Brendan Gallagher is not the problem. The hard work is there. He gets to stay in the lineup. I'm not taking out his compete, and I'm not taking out the offensive. I'm going to use production because it's a lack of word. I know the goals aren't there 5-on-5, but the effort is there. And sometimes you got to reward the effort. So I'm rewarding his effort because he goes out there and he gives it. Maybe the puck starts to bounce and go his way. Maybe he does rack up a few more points. I get he's making $6.5 million. But to me, he is not a buyout candidate, and you are not moving Brendan out of here. You want to do that in the offseason or something else, you have that conversation at that point. But I'm not ruffling the feathers in that locker room by taking Brendan Gallagher out of it, especially for some of those guys that are there. Nobody works harder than Brendan Gallagher. We all know that, right? Nobody. You can't sit here and say Brendan Gallagher doesn't work hard. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Brendan Gallagher stays in the lineup. Patrick Laine isn't going anywhere. Sammy Blais to the minors. It is what it is. But listen. This has been a ton of fun. First of all, thank you all for hanging out with me on this frigid day on episode 102 of Slapshot Podcast. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, I appreciate you. Go ahead, hit the sub button, ring the bell. Follow me on X at FuzzyChris91. Follow the podcast on X as well at Slapshot Podcast. Hit the link tree in the description. Follow the podcast in its audio form wherever you enjoy audio. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you hanging out. Stay warm. We'll talk to each other again soon.